Hi, I'm Suzanne Ross of the Raven Foundation. There are lots of political scandals in the news right now. There always are. Politicians are being accused of lots of stuff, having affairs, engaging in prostitution, committing perjury, taking bribes, all sorts of really bad stuff. And as the accusations fly, so do the demands for them to be censured or to resign from office. So here's the question voters who are aware of scapegoating should be asking. How can we tell if these accusations are true or if they are symptoms of a scapegoating event? So the best thing to do is to try to answer these 5 questions. Okay, question number 1. Who is making the accusation? If it's someone who has something to gain by the downfall of the accused, you'd be wise to be suspicious. An accuser with a stake in the outcome is like a judge who should recuse himself or herself from participating in a case. So question 2, how vulnerable is the accused? Scapegoaters go after the weak and marginalized, a lot like a cheetah attacking a very young or very old antelope, because they won't put up much of a fight and won't pose much of a physical threat to the cheetah. Now, a politically isolated target will not be able to generate a lot of support, and so the accusers will not have to deal with a large posse of defenders, and so they take on very little political risk of their own. Question number 3. Will the problem be solved if the politician is punished or leaves office? Now, very often what one person is being accused of is not an isolated incident, but something that is present throughout the entire political system. Corruption, bribery, even cheating on one's spouse are not problems that reside within one person alone. It is always important to remember that ridding ourselves of one immoral or corrupt politician is not a solution to the real problems. The proof of that is that there have been many successful crusades to eliminate particular politicians from office without ending the corruption that produces a steady stream of contenders for the next scandal. So question number 4. Is public opinion approaching unanimity on the issue? Now, we often think of consensus as an indicator of truth, but it is much more likely to be indicative of the formation of a mob. If everyone agrees, it's an answer of sorts to question number 2, that this is a very vulnerable target. He or she has no defenders, and the unanimity, rather than a sign of truth, is more likely a sign that facts are being suppressed or voices silenced in order to generate the unanimity. Our last question, number 5. What personal stake do we as non-stakeholders have in the outcome? What I mean by that is that you and I don't know the politician personally, and we have nothing to gain or lose by the outcome. So what we have to guard against is using someone else's downfall to feel good about ourselves, which is its own kind of reward. We may be creating community at work, let's say, by all ganging up with our coworkers against the accused. On a personal level, we can feel morally superior to accused, thinking, I'd never behave so badly. If we are getting benefits like this from the scandal, chances are we will not do the honest questioning that is required to get closer to the truth. Now, the tricky part in all this, and the most difficult thing to understand about scapegoating, is that the accusations may have some degree of truth to them, and it still may be a scapegoating event. Now, you'll notice that none of the questions about scapegoating have anything to do with whether the scapegoat is innocent or guilty of the accusations, because it doesn't matter. What matters is how the accusations affect the accusers, whether they benefit in some concrete way, as in question number 1, or in a more subjective way, as in question number 5. So the next time you suspect a political scandal might be a scapegoating event, imagine that all the accusations are like a spotlight, focusing everyone's attention on the accused. By taking the time to answer all 5 questions about scapegoating, you'll be shining a light into all the dark areas that the spotlight is not reaching. Places that once illuminated will help you find a more honest assessment of what's going on. Thank you, and I'd love to hear your comments.